Hey, happy Monday. Today I'm going live and answering all your questions about law of attraction. And so we have quite a few. I think we'll be able to get to 3 or 4 of them in the next 20 or 30 minutes. So I'm going to go half hour for about a half an hour and then kind of answer your questions. And if you have questions that come up as you're watching this, just drop them below and I'll try to answer those too. So first one that we have is, how quick do you see a change in the law of attraction after you start using it? The next one is how to get rid of FOMO and wanting to be in the center of attention. How do you get rid of FOMO and also wanting to be the center of attention thoughts? So I'm assuming it's like center of attention thoughts. Another one is, I have trouble meditating and visualizing. How else can I use the law of attraction? And then another one is, I've heard you've had to share your intentions, but you also have to keep them to yourself. What do you do? So I think what they mean is sometimes if you share them out loud, if you speak them out loud, or like with a community, things like that, it can help you raise your vibration. But then there's other times where if there's people that you're surrounded by, that they can't really hold space for you. So it's like, how do you determine whether you keep your goals and intentions to yourself, or how do you share them? I believe that's what that person meant in their question. Hey guys, I see you hopping on. Go ahead and wave once you're here. So let's get into the first one. How do you see a change? How quick do you see a change in the law of attraction after you start practicing it? And this can depend on you and where you're at. But I find that people start to feel better almost immediately when they start practicing the ways of law of attraction, or once they become aware of it and the intentionality of how they can start to feel better and raise their vibration. The goal is for you to feel better now. And when we can get you at a level of feeling better more of the time, you'll start to raise that energetic vibration. You'll raise yourself up on that emotional guidance scale, and you'll start to call in more things into your life. So if you're feeling anger, or we want to shift you from anger to maybe content or hopefulness or love or joy, and kind of work our way up there. But a lot of these things are going to have you feeling better now, because instead of focusing on the things that you don't want, you're going to focus on the things that you do want and choose better feeling thoughts, because you may not be able to control every single situation that comes to you in life, but you can control how you think, act, and feel about it. And you can also learn to appreciate the contrast that you're experiencing. And so what I mean by contrast is, you would not know what it is that you do want over here until you've discovered what you do not want over here. So a big thing that comes up in the groups that I host is money and time. Like, those are two big things. Or like, how do I get from point A to point B? And so let's just say that money is something that you're working on. And so your dominant thoughts are, I'm in debt, I have all this debt, I hate when I'm in debt, I don't have any money for anything. Those are your dominant thoughts. But those have also let you experience the contrast of not having the money that you desire that's over here, okay? So by having lack, you can experience that you want abundance. And so how do we love and appreciate that contrast in life? Because it's actually creating this desire that you want over here. And so you can't get from here to here. You have to move through that kind of messy middle. And so what you do is you change how you feel about your debt right now, so that you can have gratitude mindset, abundance mindset. And that will help you shift your perspective to be on the other end of that spectrum. I know that can be kind of a difficult thing for people, because we've had these belief systems for a very long time, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years for some of us, right? And so those things don't just change overnight. You have to gradually work through all of those belief systems and become unattached, learn to let go of those old beliefs and replace them with new beliefs. So one thing that I did with a gal last week, she felt really icky every time that she paid a bill. And I said, well, instead of feeling really like bad that every time you pay a bill, get in the habit of saying thank you for the things that that bill has given you, right? So let's say that you have a car payment every month. Sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to make this car payment. Like, there goes $500 or $1,000 out of my bank account, da 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 da. But if you think about it, you should say thank you to that lender, to that credit union for allowing you to receive the funds to purchase that vehicle in the first place. Because a lot of you don't have 40, 50, 60, 80, whatever $1,000, however much a car is now. I mean, I know you can get some, lower cost cars, but I think the average cost of a car right now is probably like 40 or 50 grand. I mean, and with back orders on things, like it's really hard to get a car right now, And so how can we show love and appreciation and gratitude for that credit union or that lender that gave us that $50,000 or whatever it was, so that we can have the vehicle that we desire, so that we can drive it now. So it's like you're thanking the universe for the immediate gratification that you received previously, and you're just prolonging it, okay? Because you could have saved up for a $50,000 car, but you wouldn't have been able to have it right then when you wanted it. And so how do you say thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing me to have this desire immediately versus 3 or 5 years from now, okay? Same thing with like electric bills, phone bills. Sometimes people get really butthurt about sending in payments for those, but hey, you've already used the electricity. They're just billing you for the stuff that you already used last month. Same with the phone bill. They're just billing you for the stuff you've already used. So this concept, I think who talked about it? Kate Northrup. I want to say the book is Money, a Love Story. And she talks about invoices for blessings you've already received. And so get in the habit of just saying thank you for the invoices, for the blessings that you've already received. And you'll start to feel an energetic shift within you, because instead of saying, wah, wah, there goes my money, you're just saying thank you, and I'm paying for the things that I've already used. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that gratitude space is much, much different than that lack space. And so when you can get in that space of gratitude and abundance more of the time, the law of attraction works for you much quicker. Okay. And things that can help you feel better now, we'll get into this here in a minute, because I know somebody was talking about, if you have trouble meditating or visualizing, there's a million different ways to manifest. There's a million different ways. The biggest thing though is how you feel about it and how you can raise that vibration of how you feel about it. So think of a word or an intention or a goal that you want or that you desire, and how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel expansive? What are the adjectives that are associated with that? And so if they make you feel not enough, less than, things like that, then you got some work to do on your stories, because we want to shift that mindset around the things that you desire most. Ways that you can increase your vibration so that law of attraction can start working even quicker are things like meditation, are things like visualizing, getting in that headspace of I already have this thing that I desire, focusing on what you do want instead of what you don't want. So you're just staying like in the present or a few steps ahead. Another thing you can do is exercise. I know everybody's like, exercise. But really, when you can get your body moving, a body in motion stays in motion. And so when you start to create that energy, momentum comes behind it, okay? Because if you're stagnant, and this is why I get up and I move around, I do jumping jacks, anytime I feel stagnant or like I'm stuck, if you guys have that stuck feeling, go outside, unplug, put your phone down, go for a walk, do some jumping jacks, clear your head, okay? Because you have had so much going on here, but you're not doing enough physically with your body. And so you have to shift that energy and find other things to focus on. Reading books, listening to inspirational things, music can pump people up too. That can help make people feel better. A lot of times people just aren't nourishing themselves correctly, or they're not drinking enough water. I know those are things that people don't want to hear, but it can really make a difference on how you feel energetically, because not only can food affect how you feel, like if you eat junk food, you're going to feel like junk. It's science, guys. Like if you feed your body foods that aren't nourishing, you're not going to feel nourished. But if you feed yourself foods that are alive and energizing, things like that, that's how you feel, okay? So food is fuel. Think about the things that you're consuming energetically. People, places, times, things, food, waters, all that stuff, it affects your frequency. It affects your vibration, okay? So when you can feed yourself more nourishing things, you're going to feel more nourished. You're going to feel more alive and energized. It's the same thing with water. Water is a huge thing that people just neglect because, I don't know, there's a million different things that you could be doing than drinking water. But I'm telling you what, I drink like 3 or 4 of these a day. yes, I pee a lot, but I'm hydrated, man. Like, I'm not worried about decision fatigue. I'm not worried about being tired. I know that's not a symptom that I'm going to have because I'm drinking the water. So there's things that you can do. But as soon as you start using the law of attraction and bring conscious awareness to it, it starts working almost immediately. But let's say that you're vibrating at a 5 and your goal that you want is kind of like a 10 vibration. You're going to have to move through the levels to get up to here. So something like that might take a little bit longer depending on your belief system and kind of where you're at on that vibrational scale. But right away, you'll start to work on feeling better. So maybe your goal, right now is to get from a 5 to a 6 to a 7, 7 to an 8. Work your way up to where you're at that match of a 10 of the thing that you desire most. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. The question was, how quick do you see a change in law of attraction after you start doing it? And that's almost immediately you feel an energetic shift, but you'll have to work through the emotional guidance scale until you're at a vibrational match for that desire that you want the most. Okay. So that's where, like, say you're down here, and this is just another example, and I want $10 million, but part of you doesn't really believe that $10 million is possible. You'll have to work through all of the stories until you come to expect it. You come to believe it 100% without a doubt, okay? And then when you're at an energetic vibrational match, boom, it appears. But you also have to be open to opportunity and possibility, because a lot of times the things that you desire will come to you in ways that you never expected. So let go of like the control and the perfectionism that it has to be this way, because every time you say it has to be this way, you're adding a layer of resistance, And like I said in the beginning, we want to take the path of least resistance. Okay. So hopefully that answers that question. The next question, let me know if you guys are here. Give me a thumbs up. I see some people are watching. If you have questions about like what you're manifesting or law of attraction, put them below and I'll answer them, because I'm going to kind of be doing some lives throughout the week and answering these questions. Let's see, anybody else? How to get rid of FOMO and wanting to be the center of attention. So how to get rid of FOMO, the number one thing is you are looking everywhere except for what's right in front of you. Okay, so a lot of times when people experience FOMO, they're not happy with where they're at, or they want other people to be where they're at. They feel like they're just constantly missing out. And so when I see people with FOMO, I encourage them to disconnect. I know that probably sounds counterintuitive to what a lot of other people will tell you, but I want you to disconnect, because there's actually a theory out there that if like you take all the mirrors out of your house, you'll become, happier with how you look and feel, because you won't be constantly comparing yourself to the mirror. It's the same thing as FOMO. So if you shut out all of that outside noise, a lot of times you'll appreciate what's right in front of you more, okay? Because you're not being distracted. Think of the analogy that I use quite a bit is like the horse and carriage. I'm kind of a horse person. I shouldn't say kind of like a horse obsessed person. But if you think about it, like a horse with blinders, they just want to focus on where they're going, not necessarily what everybody else is doing. So this is where you got to put your blinders on and focus on you. And sometimes that's the uncomfortable thing to do, because our shit is the hardest to work on. It's really easy to go tell that person over there what they need to work on. But for us to really sit with that discomfort of the things that we need to work on, no, thank you. Like that stuff is hard. And I know it's hard because I still do it. I'm like, nope, I don't have time for that today. But we can't let go of that fear of missing out until we start to love and appreciate where we are at. So take all the mirrors out of your house, hypothetically, or do it really. Like I've done it before. I literally have 2 mirrors in my house, and no, actually I have 3. 2 are in bathrooms, and then I have like this is probably a bad omen or something, but I have a broken mirror over there that I use once in a while. But I'm one of those people that can get really stuck on like how I look. So I'm like, screw it, get rid of all the mirrors. I know, like, I feel so much better when I'm not constantly looking in a mirror and comparing myself to how I should look, right? No, just focus on how you feel right now and let that be enough. The center of attention thoughts, this can go a couple different ways. a lot of times we want to be the center of attention because we're not giving ourselves the attention that we want. So we want other people to give us attention. So really this can just be a projection that we are projecting out onto other people. So I wish there was an example here. How do I want to say this? So if you are constantly seeking attention, if you're constantly like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, a lot of times this stems from, in my experience, like a lack of self-worth, where you're like, I wish people would look at me. I wish people would validate me. I wish people would say what I'm doing is great. Where's my pat on the back? And this, a lot of times, this person who is experiencing this is, you know, giving advice, telling others how great they're doing. They're like the big cheerleader in life, and they are trying to do that in the world because that is what they want. Yet they're doing it from a place of lack, not from a place of abundance. And so this is where they're experiencing that I want to be the center of attention, even though I'm not. This is a lot of times where people can, who's the other person? There's another person that I've worked with that experienced this. And so they sometimes act like, I'm like cringing because I'm like trying to think, rack my brain. Another thing that people experience is they want to be like a know-it-all. And so they're like constantly like, hey, this is how it should be. This is how it should be. This is how it should be, because they want to feel important. I hope this is making sense. And so a lot of times when we have that fear of missing out, or when we have that need for attention, or when we have that constant, like, I want to prove somebody right, or another type of personality or person that does this is like one-uppers. A lot of times it's them projecting out into the world what they are lacking in their own life. And so how do you let go of that stuff? How do you be that person for you? How do you be that cheerleader for yourself? How do you be your own center of attention? How do you know that you are a knowledgeable human without having to constantly tell people, right? Because as soon as you tell people, it shows that you don't feel worthy on the inside. I hope this is making sense here. And so this is where I would encourage you to put up the mirrors in your house and look at yourself and say, what do I need? How can I give myself the attention that I need? How can I love and accept myself and know that I am enough and not have to seek that in other people? I hope this is making sense. I hope that answers that question too. But this is a lot of inner stories. And so when you can start to, the book that comes to mind, I think, is Louise Hay's. It's like 21 Days Self-Healing or something like that. It's a really great book. I think it's like mirror work, maybe. So check that out, because I know that kind of helped me when I was like, why doesn't anybody care? Like, why doesn't anybody this? But let me tell you this. We always want to seek attention and validation in those that we love and respect. But if somebody were to call you up off the street and be like, cool, I don't care, you'd be like, wow, okay, fine, click, bye. But if it's somebody that we love and care about, we naturally want them to validate us. But not everybody is at a place where they can energetically support us. And so you're placing unrealistic expectations on family members to be your support team, or maybe it's friends or whatever. And so this actually gets into I know there was another question on here about finding like people to share your stuff with. You have to be really cautious. I shouldn't say really cautious, just be careful on what expectations you place on those around you, because not everybody is going to be your number one cheerleader. Not everybody is going to care about the things that you want. And you have to know and love and respect yourself enough to be okay with that. And this is where that self-worth and that self-confidence comes from, because even if everybody else is doing it a different way and you feel in your gut, in your soul, in your heart that this is what you should be doing, you have to listen to that and not what everybody else is saying. So this is where you shut out that stuff and look at yourself and ask yourself, what do I need? What do I need? And your desires are not going to be in alignment with everybody else's desires on this planet. That's what makes this place a beautiful place, the contrast, right? Not everybody's going to love horses. Not everybody's going to love gardening. Not everybody's going to want to live in a condo downtown. Not everybody's going to want to live on a 100-acre farm. Not everybody's going to want to drive a truck. Not everybody's going to want to ride a bike. And that's okay. It's finding the beauty in where you're at and just being okay with it and loving and appreciating people where they're at. and not placing unrealistic expectations on them either. Okay. Next question. I have trouble meditating or visualizing. How else can I use the law of attraction? So meditation, there's a million ways to meditate, you guys. Don't ever say, I can't, because once you get into the I can't mindset, you're going to be stuck there. Okay. So instead of saying, I can't, ask yourself, how can I? And find a way that works for you. So a couple different ways that you can start meditating, and meditating just means like putting your energy and focus on either like one thing, and learning to like shut off the noise, because when there's so much chaos going on in this brain, you can't get a clear vision of what it is that you want, because you're sitting there and you're like, I'm thinking about meditating. Oh, I forgot to do the dishes. Oh, I forgot to feed the dogs. Oh, da 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 da. And so it's just getting in the habit of calming down the mind, which helps calm down the nervous system, which helps open up your energy bodies, which really allows you to manifest even more, because it's getting rid of all that noise and resistance in your brain. Okay. So a few different ways that you can meditate. Listening to guided meditations, listening to your favorite nature sounds, listening to different types of music. There's different types of like sound healing. I can't reach them off screen, but like there's different like sound bowl therapies that can help like open up things. You can go for walks, like there's walking meditations. There's all kinds of things that you can do. And really what it is just like taking your focus and putting it on one focal point and quieting the noise. Another thing people do is literally just like count their breaths. You can do like self-hypnosis meditation where you're like counting through your fingers and saying an affirmation. I would challenge you to say, how can I, and just explore the different types of meditation and how they can work for you. And just know that nobody does it perfectly. That's not a thing. You don't just sit here for 15, 20, 30 minutes and I mean, you can. There are people out there that do that. But if you can just set an expectation of yourself, like, I'm going to meditate for 1 minute. Okay, I did that. I'm going to meditate for 2 minutes tomorrow, 3 minutes tomorrow, 4 minutes tomorrow, and gradually increase, you'll be much better off. Again, path of least resistance, okay? Stop setting unrealistic expectations of yourself. If you're somebody who has never meditated in your life, don't expect to sit there and meditate perfectly for 15 or 30 minutes. Like, start with 2 or 3 minutes of listening to something, counting your breaths, or going for a walk with nothing and just trying to listen to the birds or something. Okay. There's different ways that you can do it, but that's not the only way that you can, use a law of attraction. Same thing with visualization. I find that like there's guided visualizations that help. There's one that I do with my students or with my clients to help them kind of get a vision of what it is that they're after, that like big vision that they're looking to create, which can be really helpful if somebody's guiding you through that. Another thing is vision boards. I don't know where mine is. Doesn't matter. If there's something that you want in your life, if you have a picture of it, whether it's on the background of your phone, whether it's a vision board, I mean, there's a million different ways that you can create that visualization. You don't just have to sit here and think about something. You can look at pictures. You can go, like, if there's a certain house that you want, start going to open houses, get the feel for it, get the who, what, where, when, why, how, touch it, see it, feel it. If there's a certain type of car, go test drive cars. If there's a certain outfit you want, go try it on. Like, visualization can be anything. It can be literally like, okay, I'm going to go on realtor.com and start looking at houses of the dream house that I want and putting together that perfect dream house. If there's a certain type of car, maybe what you do is you start driving through the dealership. Okay. It can be whatever you want. It doesn't have to just be sitting here looking at a photo. It can be in your mind, or it can be in your physical reality. I hope that helps. Other things that you can do to utilize the law of attraction, it just kind of depends on your personality too. Like, women tend to like the affirmation type of thing. A lot of women want like the affirmations. That tends to help. A lot of people struggle with the meditation. I think a lot of people struggle with meditation. So don't beat yourself up over that. Nobody does it perfectly. And if they say they do, then they're full of shit. Visualization. I find a lot of guys do really well with visualization because they can see it, feel it, touch it, taste it, all that kind of stuff. A lot of guys will, like I said, they'll go places and they'll do things. And people used to think I was crazy because I would go test drive cars and go to open houses. I'd just do, whatever it took to kind of get myself in that headspace of what it would feel like once I had this thing. And so maybe, if it's going on vacations, maybe you go down the street and put yourself in a different environment and be like, oh, if I were on vacation, I would do this and I would do this and I would do this, and start to feel it, or if there's like a certain pair of shoes you want, or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, or maybe it's like a person, maybe you go through, I don't know, a dating app and like look at people. It's getting in the feeling of, I already have this. Other things that you can do are, let's see, what else could you do? There's a law of attraction planner. I find that works really, really well to help people kind of get into the zone. Really just like having the thing that you desire most in the forefront of your mind really, really helps. So for example, anytime like that thought creeps in of like, I can't have this, like flip the script and be like, no, I can, it's on its way to me. The tricky thing with affirmations though, is you have to feel like it's true. You have to believe it. And so this is where I almost like working affirmations, or like next step affirmations. So instead of saying like, I am a millionaire, when you're not a millionaire, sometimes can make it feel untrue. And so if it feels untrue, that's the focus, right? That's the forefront of your mind, is this isn't true. Why am I saying this? And so you can say, I'm working on manifesting my millions, or I am well on my way to becoming a millionaire, or I'm open to the opportunities that are coming to me that will make me $1 million. And so you can say things that are like a working affirmation instead of like this like concrete affirmation. Sometimes that helps. And then again, I know you guys don't want to hear it, but exercising, fueling your body, moving your body, taking care of yourself, showing the universe that you're serious, drinking your water. I mean, how many times have I took a sip since talking to you guys? But there's lots of things that you can do. And even if you wanted to take it to the next level, there's like different hypnotherapies out there that can help kind of rewrite underlying stories. There's psychics out there, there's destiny card readings, there's astrology readings. There's lots of things that can kind of help you let go of the old belief patterns and replace them with new belief patterns so that you can manifest even quicker using the law of attraction. But the law of attraction is just like gravity. Like, you don't wake up and be like, oh God, are my feet gonna hit the ground today? They're going to anyways. And so it's just being intentional about your thoughts throughout the day and choosing better feeling thoughts more of the time so you can stay in that high vibration state. And then when you can stay in that high vibe state more of the time, you're going to attract more of the things into your life. So really mindset, thoughts, feeling, those are the number one things. And however you get to that place is what works for you. Okay. It's not a one size fits all. I'm just giving lots of different examples here. Okay, last one, and I know we're over on time, so hopefully you guys can hang with me here. I've heard to share my intentions with people, but I've also heard to keep them to myself. What do I do? And so I know I touched on this a little bit earlier. When you're sharing your intentions, you want to make sure that you're sharing your intentions with people who are also at an energetic vibrational match as you or higher, okay? Because somebody that is doing just as much or more than you is not going to criticize you. But those who are at a lower level than you, a lower energetic vibration than you, or those who don't necessarily have the same goals and hopes and wants and dreams, they probably don't really give a shit, right? Or their fears come up or their projections come up, and that's not helping you manifest because other people are literally just like throwing all their stuff at you instead of holding space for you. And so go with your gut on this, okay? I share things with people who I know can love and support me. That is not my family. That is not my friends. I usually share very limited amounts with them on what I'm working on because I know that, I shouldn't say I know, but I'm assuming that they, one, won't get it. Two, they don't have the same thoughts or feelings or beliefs or goals or hopes as me. So it's like, okay, well, I'm working on this stuff, but whatever. And then another one is, sometimes our family's fears will be projected onto us. Like when I left my corporate job, what are you going to do about money? What are you going to do about insurance? What are you going to do about this? What are you going to do about that? How are you going to make a living? And it's like, don't worry about it. I'm an adult. I'll figure it out. Like, There's lots of people out there who run businesses. There's lots of people out there who leave their corporate job just because like you didn't, you know what I mean? And so it's just like other people projecting their fears and insecurities onto you, and you don't want to share your intentions with people who are just going to project onto you. And so this is where finding, like, I think this person was referencing a mastermind actually, because they said like, I'm in part of a mastermind, like it went on and on and on. And so masterminds can be really great for this. There's also different like support groups that you can be a part of, book clubs that you can be a part of. I know that there's certain like fitness communities or horse communities. You just have to find a place that people are going to love and encourage you, that you feel safe, that you feel like you can be vulnerable in, and that you don't feel like you're going to be judged, okay? And if you are judged, or if people do project their stuff onto you, just let it go as hard as it is, because would you rather feel at peace or would you rather feel right? Would you rather waste your energy trying to get them to come up to here, which I'm going to let you in a little secret. You can't drag anybody across the finish line. You just can't. Okay. They have to do their own work. But if you're here, if you try to get this person up here, that's not what's going to happen. You're going to come down here and then you're going to feel like, okay. So be here, love and accept them where they're at, let it go. Okay. And then find people who are here to support you. And that can be friends, that can be family members, that can be masterminds, that can be support groups. And if you can't find those things, share them with yourself, share them with your journal. You know, you don't have to share these things, but sometimes if we can speak life into them, they can help us manifest even quicker, because it's like, oh shit, I can't believe I just said that out loud. Like, it's really gonna happen. So sometimes it can add a little fuel to the fire if you do end up, you know, speaking your truth about the things that you desire. But this is where, you know, going back to like the FOMO and the center of attention kind of thoughts, this is where you have to be, you know, 100% confident with who you are and what you desire in life, that no matter what anybody else says, you're gonna go after it regardless, because it's your dreams, not theirs, yours. And you were put on this earth with this desire so that you can go after it. Okay. Not everybody's going to have the same desires. Not everybody's going to want to manifest the same things in life. Not everybody's going to have the same, you know, wants and dreams. And that's okay. That's the beauty of it, right? That's the beauty of being human, is you have choice and you get to feel how you want to feel. Okay. So that is all I have for you today. I know there's a few other questions on here, but I don't think we're going to get to them. We're already at like 40 minutes. So thank you guys for hopping on. Thank you for showing up. If you have other questions, if you want me to answer anything about law of attraction, kind of throughout this week, every day at like noon, right around the noon hour, I'm going to be going live and just sharing like bits and pieces of law of attraction, feeling better, manifesting. We're going to do some card pulls later this week too, kind of like tap into that intuitive self. And I think we might do some interviews this week. I don't know. We'll see if we can bring some people on. Maybe we can do some live coaching, something like that. We're going to have fun this week. And I just want to, you know, show my face and share the wealth. And I love learning and being challenged by you guys too, because some of these questions, I'm like, shit, how do you get rid of FOMO? So I just say the first things that come to mind and how I've dealt with it. So I love this. Love this. And I hope you guys have a kick-ass week. Hope you have a kick-ass Monday. And we'll catch you live tomorrow. All right. See ya.